Now let's talk all the stuff you need to book even before you set foot in Palermo. This way you won't spend half your trip kicking yourself or wasting time scrolling through Instagram instead of planning your trip. Trust me, I've made this mistake a million times. I think, alright, I'll figure it out when I get there, and then I end up eating at the crappiest tourist traps because all the good places are solid booked, and sitting there eating and thinking, alright, I'm an idiot, So let's see what you need to book and when you need to book it. First things first, food. You're gonna want to pick out on all the amazing street food that Palermo has to offer. Palermo is considered the street food capital of Europe. But here is the thing, you usually eat it standing up at markets or at this tiny little kiosk with crappy plastic tables that you don't need to book. You can only make reservations at a few places. When it comes to street foods, instead of booking a restaurant, you need to book a street food tour, where basically a tour guide will take you around the street markets, tell you all sorts of cool stories, shove delicious food in your face like there is no tomorrow. Check the links in the description for the best street food tours. Now listen up, street food is great for a quick bite. You must absolutely do the street food tour. But here the real magic happens when you sink your teeth in our traditional Mediterranean dishes, seafood and pizza. And unlike street food, you'll need to book a table at these places. I'm talking about the authentic places, trattorias, restaurants where we locals go, and not the crappy touristy places out there. In touristy places, you always find a free table. By the way, don't spend your entire vacation eating street food or you'll need the liver transplant. How to book these places, these trattorias, these little restaurants? You have got two options. Option A, if the gods are smiling at you, you can Google the restaurant and book through an app like The Fork, which is a sort of Tinder for restaurants. Option B, many restaurant owners may have Tinder but not a booking app for their restaurant. So in this case, you gotta pick up the phone and call like they did in the Stone Age. If you are lucky, you might be able to WhatsApp them, but don't count on it. Now here is a little tip. Give us Italians some clothes and we'll make you a nice dress. Give us a brush and we will paint a masterpiece on the ceiling. But speaking other languages is not our forte. So when you call to book a table, keep it simple. Table for 8 p.m. No actualies, no basicallys, nothing. Slow and clear, like you're talking to a golden retriever. Should you always book a table? Weekends? Yes, absolutely. Weekdays? You might be able to wing it. Now let's tackle the million-dollar question. Where the heck do you find the best restaurants? Number one, the easy way, of course, my premium guide. It's like having a Sicilian party spot. It's me giving you the insider scoop on where you can find the best food. So if you wanna eat like a real Palermitano, check the link in the description. Option B is ask the locals. Ask the bartender, the waiter at the cute little cafe, ask our patron saint Santa Rosalia. Ask the locals, but be specific. Tell them what the heck you want to eat, or you'll end up eating street food every single day, because this is the default Sicilian answer to where should I eat. Now open your ears, what not to do to find a restaurant in Palermo. Numero uno, check in TripAdvisor or similar sites. Listen, 95% of Sicilians, me included, we don't write reviews on TripAdvisor unless we want to unleash a torrent of insults and curses on a poor restaurant owner. We are not exactly the type to sit down and sing the praise of our meal online. So those reviews come mostly from other tourists. Tourists advising tourists, which isn't necessarily bad, but it ain't the same as getting the inside scoop from a local. Another thing you should never do in Palermo is thinking that you walk around and see what you can find. An idea, my friend, because the touristic area is packed with these restaurants with these pushy waiters outside trying desperately to drag you inside. Anyway, when you read authentic cannoli, Italian aperitivo, Aperol Spritz, 99% chance it's a tourist trap. Well, in Sicily, one important thing to know if you don't want to end up scarfing down garbage food as some crappy tourist trap, you gotta switch up your meal time. Lunch is from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Before that, we are drinking coffee. only, not pigging out on meatballs. Dinner is from 8 p.m. to 10-11 p.m. on the weekends. Outside those times, 9 out of 10 times, it's a freaking tourist trap. Of course, I'm talking about the classic sit-down restaurant, trattorias. Then we have got a lot of kiosks, cafes, takeaway joints, serving food all day, every day. You won't starve in Palermo. Tours that you absolutely gotta do in Palermo. You'll be kicking yourself for the rest of your life. We are here to make memories and no regrets before we head up to the pearly gates and chill with Bottega, Zeus and Michael Jackson, right? And a bunch of them, but I'm gonna lay down the ones that, in my humble opinion, are the best. Pick whatever you like, but make sure you book before they are full up. Don't be a cheapskate and cough up the dough. You are already dropping a lot of cash to get to Palermo. You don't wanna trip at the finish line, right? Numero uno on the street food tour. If you've got only one shot, go all in on this tour. Palermo is the freaking European capital of street food, and I'm talking about hot dogs and french fries, but a culinary paradise with a zillion recipes to blow your mind. A guide will take you around our street markets and stuff your face with the best grub in town and tell all the cool stories behind these century-old recipes. I get it, you could wander around the street markets and try some stuff on your own, but let's be real, you won't have a clue of what the hell you are putting in your mouth and the story behind it. Also, you'll probably end up getting ripped off and paying double for everything. The magic happens not just with the guide feeding you, but with all the cool stories behind every bite. Take our cannoli, for example. Legend has it that it was invented by the concubines of some Arab king in Sicily as a tribute to his penis, royal jewel. It's a kind of juicy gossip that you'll get, and it's worth retelling at every dinner party for the rest of your life. Link for this tour in the description, check it out. Another tour you should consider is a guided walking tour of the historic Sen. Now that's not because you need somebody to hold your hand to keep you from getting lost, it's for a way bigger reason. But it must be passed around like a hot potato throughout its history, conquered by over 15 different civilizations. Each of them has left its own mark on the city. For this reason, we have got one of the biggest historic centers in all of Europe. Some say it's the biggest, others say as Lisbon has got the biggest. You know, everyone claims to have the biggest, right? Anyway, what's the problem here? And unless you are some kind of Sicilian history nerd, which I doubt, you'll be wandering around with a dumb, clueless look on your face for not getting what the hell is going on around you. Ignorance might be bliss, but knowledge is power. When you do a guided walking tour, a guide will fill in the blanks with stories about, like, for example, the Teatro Massimo, which is the biggest opera house in Italy and the third one in all of Europe. Here they filmed The Godfather Part 3, that is a story about a cursed step you should watch out for, by the way. And there is also a creepy story with the Mafia involved. That's the kind of stuff you will never know if you wander around on your own. Best walking tours down in the description. For all the blood and murder buffs out there, there is one tour you absolutely can miss: Mafia walking tour. Now let's not bullshit ourselves. I'd like to say that the Mafia doesn't exist, but it does, unfortunately, and Sicily and the Mafia have been intertwined for longest time. Now for most foreigners, the Mafia is all about a cool Marlon Brando and the offer you can't refuse crap. But for us Sicilians, it's a double freaking royal pain in the ass, like the worst kind of cancer has wiped out all the good that the island had to offer. And on this tour, a guide will take you around to the bloody places and tell you real stories, no Hollywood crap, or the freaking plague the Mafia's been for us and all the people who died fighting them. You'll see why this shit ain't fun for Sicilians. It's emotional, eye-opening, and totally worth it. Links in the description. Don't even think about leaving Sicily without learning at least one damn recipe. Scientists have proven that if you do, you'll be calling yourself an asshole for the next 7 years straight. Listen, we Sicilians have a lot of flaws, the Mafia, several, blah blah blah, but damn, we can cook. We have great street food. We invented cannoli, gelato, ice cream, pasta and pizza are kind of our thing. And don't forget about all the amazing Mediterranean dishes that will make your taste buds dance. So skip that cheesy souvenir, that Godfather t-shirt, the magnet, the music box. Go to a cooking class and learn a skill that you can actually use. There is a cooking class for everyone. Pasta, pizza, gelato, cannoli, street food, etc, etc. I've got an American friend who found her husband with the cannoli recipe she learned here. Make me a great cannoli and I'll put a ring on it, I promise. For the best cooking classes, check the links in the description. If you are into wine, you can't leave Palermo without doing a wine tasting. As I said, as Sicilians may be a bit messed up, but we are the freaking European champions of all the deadly six. Sicilian wines are legendary. They won a ton of awards, and skipping a wine tasting is a crime. They sit you down and make you try different regional wines paired with some local snack. This is the dolce vita. It's a must-do. You live happy with your taste buds doing the Macarena and seeing double. What more could you ask for? The link is in the description. Alright, do you know those little cars, the Fiat 500s? In Italy, these are as iconic as gelato, pasta, pizza, mozzarella and cannoli. They are a piece of Italian history, and they blew up in the post-war period when Italians were all about making money, getting high and getting laid. I remember my grandpa, rest in peace, with that goofy grin on his face whenever he saw one. Anyway, in Palermo there is a tour where you hop on one of these little cars and cruise through the streets. It's like you are in a freaking movie. You'll go to the historic center, along the seaside, and even out to Monteleone. Every now and then they'll stop so you can grab a coffee, a cannoli, or whatever. If you can drive a stick shift, do it. It's a no-brainer. For me, it's the most fun tour you can do in Palermo, hands down. As always, check the link in that description. Another tour you gotta do in Sicily before leaving is a boat tour. Even the freaking walls know that Sicily has some of the clearest waters in all of Europe, and if you come here in the summer, you gotta go for a swim. Going out on a boat tour, that's a different ballgame. There's this Japanese tourist that once told me, and I will never expect that from a Japanese dude, that going to the beach in Sicily without taking a boat tour is like flirting and making out with a hobby but never getting them in bed. I was like, wow, seriously? But he made this point. There are boat tours all over the place. Mondello, San Vito lo Capo, Cefalù and beyond. Take you swimming, snorkeling, sunbathing to hidden coves with beautiful crystal waters. Bellissimo. Check the links in the description for my top pick to book or not to book the beach club. This is the question. I think Shakespeare was the one who started this whole dilemma, right? Question is, are you gonna hit the beach like a peasant or like a royalty? You've got two options. Number one, you roll out to the beach with your towel, toss it on the floor, and clean your spot. The downside is that on crowded beaches like Cefalù and Mondello, finding a patch of sand is like winning the lottery. You'll probably end up 2 inches from Uncle Nunzio, puffing away on a cigarette while the sun fries your brain until you forget your own name. Option B, you book your spot at a Lido. These are beach clubs where you can rent umbrellas and sunbeds and the luxury of not sharing your personal space with Uncle Nunzio. But of course, it'll cost you an arm and a leg. Most of the main beaches like Cefalù, Mondello, San Vito lo Capo are packed with these Lidos. It's like 75% of the sand is taken up by them. So anything like me, a bit of a diva who loves her comfort, can stand the thought of spending the day next to Uncle Nunzio, then we gotta book your spot at a Lido in advance, especially weekends and peak months like July and August. How the heck do you book this Lido? Some of the fancier ones let you book online, while others, it's a miracle if they have a phone or they know what WhatsApp is. I've put a couple of the easier ones to book in the description. Check them out. Now, just a heads up, Lidos are open only in the summer. It means from late May, June, September, October. Before and after that, it's your ass on the sand. As for prices, they cost an arm and a leg. It's about 30 euros for 2 sunbeds and an umbrella, shower and toilet included. They usually have a kiosk, a restaurant, what have you, serving crappy food you can order if you are desperate.